Welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Justin.
What are we going to do today?
Today we are going to compare and contrast King of Tokyo
with King of New York. I take you out!
We'll see what the dice say.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
Nice. All right.
Okay, so what we normally do with our compare and contrast video, we kind of just keep it a list of comparisons and a list of contrasts.
Yeah.
So we can probably just start right off.
Sounds good.
Let's see. The first one I have on my list is I have similarities. Justin has differences.
That's right.
The first similarity is number of players. It's good for 2 to 6 players.
That's right. However, King of Tokyo is for ages 8+, whereas King of New York recommends 10+. And King of Tokyo is about 30 minutes. King of New York says about 40. So a little bit higher age, a little bit longer playtime.
Right.
Yep.
So the next similarity that I have is that it's basically the exact same theme. I mean, it really is. It's just big monsters. One game you're tromping all over Tokyo, and the other game you're tromping all over New York.
Yes.
But it's the exact same theme.
It is the same theme. There is slight differences because when you're looking at the monsters in King of Tokyo, there's a lot of those kind of classic kaiju, Godzilla, although technically copyright, so it's not Godzilla. So it's more of those style of monsters. Whereas King of New York, there's robots and there's kind of a King Kong sort of.
But probably you can't say
but
that
not
either.
Really, yeah. There's like a mecha like dragon with guns, and when I was actually playing this with some students at our board game, they kind of said, well, these remind me of like a lot more Pokemon type monsters. I don't think you could say Pokemon is a American thing.
I have no idea anything about Pokemon.
I don't know.
Too old for that.
But you can definitely see a slight change in the style of monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow these are more American, and the King of Tokyo are not.
Okay.
But they're still giant monsters, and they're still trying to play King of the Hill and destroy each other.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next similarity I have are the components are pretty much exactly the same.
Yes.
Because you've got the nice thick cardboard cutout for the monsters with the nice stands that fit really nice on here.
Yep.
And then the big dice are nice big chunky clunky dice.
Yeah.
And the energy is exactly the same. And the cardstock and everything is exactly the same.
Yep. Slight difference. Hi, Kaylee.
Maybe she'll just be nice.
Maybe. A slight difference is that there are more components in King of New York. The board is bigger. You have all of these things falling over. You have all these building tokens as well that flip over to become unit tokens. So there's more component. There's more component-wise to King of New York than there is to King of Tokyo.
There. Sorry.
No, it's just perfect thematically.
Yeah, it's true. A big monster comes clunking through.
Yep.
Destroying all your buildings.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll send a unit after her in a minute.
Okay.
Next.
Sorry I interrupted you.
That's right.
Components done. So another similarity is the Yahtzee mechanic with the dice. So you roll your 6 dice, usually 6 unless you have a special power.
Yep.
And then you roll them. You keep the ones you want, and you can roll them 2 more times. So you get to roll them in total 3 times on your turn.
Yeah.
If you need to.
Yeah.
And then also with the dice, the 6-sided dice have the attack, the heal, and the energy are the exact same in both games.
Yeah. The difference is King of New York has different faces instead of the numbers. In King of Tokyo, except for the attack, the heal, and the energy, there is the 1, the 2, and the 3. And they all work the same. You get 3 1s, or 3 2s, or 3 3s, and you get some points. And that was it. That's all they did. They've completely gotten rid of those. Instead, what you have to replace those points is you've got stars, which is celebrity.
Right.
If you roll 3 stars, you immediately get a celebrity card.
The superstar card.
which gives you a point. And then as long as you hold on to that card, every star you roll from then on gives you another point. So that takes that whole 3 different sides of numbers and puts that mechanism of points into just one side.
Right.
So that leaves 2 sides to kind of, what are we going to do next? And what they've done is they've got destruction sides, which is a destroyed building, and that allows you to destroy buildings or units in your burrow.
Like that.
Which is really awesome. Because what it allows you to do is, if you're destroying buildings, you can actually gain points or energy or hearts from destroying them. And the same thing with the different units. It's another way of getting points or energy or hearts, which is really cool. I like that a lot. And then finally there's the ouchie symbol.
Which looks like that.
Yeah. Now, when I first saw the ouchie symbol, I thought it was kind of like, almost like push your luck. Like if you rolled an ouchie symbol, you couldn't re-roll it, but you can, which is kind of cool. But when you're finally done your 3 rerolls, if you have ouchie symbols, one of them means any unit that's in your burrow attacks you for 1 damage. If you roll 2 ouchie symbols, every unit in your burrow attacks every monster in your burrow for 1 damage each. And if you roll 3, every unit on the board attacks every monster in their burrow. Plus, you get this other crazy card, the Statue of Liberty, which means the Statue of Liberty comes alive and helps you defend the city. And it gives you 3 points when you get the card, and you lose 3 points when you lose the card.
Sounds accurate. I think I saw that in a movie once.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of movies, actually.
Probably.
So, with that change up, they've taken basically, I don't know what to do with these 3 sides. Let's just put points on it, which is, I don't know, not exciting. And they've completely changed it and put some brand new mechanisms in there, adding to the complexity of the board and all the different things you can do with that, and it just makes a whole new side of the game.
Yeah. It brings it up a level.
Yes.
Or 2 or 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Couple levels there.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
So another similarity between the 2 games is that you're still collecting the energy to buy the cards, and you're dealing the damage.
Yep.
And the cards that you buy with your energy are going to give you special abilities and change the game a little bit each time you play.
Yep. There is a difference between King of Tokyo and King of New York when it comes to all that stuff. You're still getting the energy in King of New York and the hearts and all that, but because you can destroy buildings or units, there's all these new ways to get stars or hearts or energy.
Right.
Which is really neat. I like that. Plus, the cards in King of Tokyo give you these small bonuses, and I find the cards in King of New York give you bigger bonuses. Better, bigger things to do, more synergies, and the cards that you get in King of Tokyo are going to inform your strategy a little bit. Like, oh, I've got this, so now I'm going to try to get these dice. But because there's so many different mechanisms in King of New York with the dice, these cards are going to inform your strategy even more. So that is a huge difference between the 2 games. Yeah. What's next?
So I only have one more similarity.
Okay.
And it's that the mechanics and the theme are an awesome blend.
Yes.
As well as the art to the theme is an awesome blend. They really both lend themselves both great to the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In both King of Tokyo and King of New York, you feel like a monster tromping around destroying stuff.
Yeah. You do.
There is a very small difference, though. King of Tokyo, when you get the expansions for it, add evolution cards, which give you specific powers based off the character.
Right.
So, without those expansions, really the characters are just flavor. They just look different. But there's no difference. The evolution cards change that and give each character unique abilities, which is very thematic.
Right.
King of New York does not have that.
They could, though.
If
they made an expansion for it,
true.
Could work exactly the same way.
Yeah. But as of right now, with just the base game, King of New York does not have that. However, King of New York boosts up that kind of theme a little bit by allowing you to destroy buildings and stomp on units.
Right.
Which is not in King of Tokyo. and that is also very thematic.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure.
So they both kind of have a little bit of an edge in a different way on theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's cool.
Yeah.
A couple other differences between the two games. If you get King of Tokyo with all the expansions and start throwing those evolution cards, and it also comes with costumes, which have some unique roles, it's going to increase the complexity of King of Tokyo. But even with all that in there, it's still very much a gateway game.
Right.
King of New York is not so much a gateway game. With all the different things with the units and the buildings and how they interact and the cards, it definitely elevates it just above that gateway level of complexity.
I think you could still play it with new players, though.
Oh, yeah.
It would just take you a little bit long to explain how the different things interact on the board.
Yeah. But that level of complexity is definitely a notch higher for King of New York. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
King of Tokyo, when you have a different player count, it changes up the strategy, but there's not really a whole lot else there that changes the strategy. Depending on what cards come out, that might change your strategy a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas King of New York, the cards and the units and the locations are definitely going to have a stronger influence on strategy.
Yeah.
Because you can do cool things like stomp a borough down until there's a lot of units and then move out of it and let those units beat up on other people. So that's really cool. That's basically it. Evolution cards in King of Tokyo, no evolution cards in King of New York is another big change. Which, again, with an expansion would change that very quickly.
Yeah. I just thought of another difference.
What's that?
But it's personally for me.
That's
because in King of Tokyo, you could get the Cyber Bunny.
Yep.
But in King of New York, so far there are no cute monsters.
And I have the same kind of, relation to the monsters in King of New York. I don't like them as much as the monsters in King of Tokyo.
But that's just a personal thing.
Yeah, it is. It's just a personal thing. The mecha dragon with the big gun is really cool, and I find the rest of the monsters in King of New York are just meh. They're okay.
Yeah.
But none of them are like, oh, that is cool. Whereas I find most of the monsters in King of Tokyo are cool.
But see, they made that one first, so they got to pick all the really cool monsters first.
Yeah.
So maybe it was harder to come up with really cool monsters for New York.
True. Right now, if these were games that I absolutely love, if I found these games to be absolutely outstanding, which I don't, they're great games, and I enjoy them, but I'm not like, I must play King of New York all the time.
Yeah.
I'll play it and enjoy it, but it's not constantly jumping off the shelf at me.
Right.
But if it was, what I would do is I would buy them all. I would get all of them, and then I would take all the monsters from King of New York out of the game, and I would take all the monsters and the evolution cards from King of Tokyo and its expansions and put them into the King of New York board. Because I love the buildings and the units and the cool dice mechanisms of King of New York and that complexity.
And
I love
board.
that a whole lot more than King of Tokyo. But I also really love those evolution cards. The fact that, Pumpkin Jack has an exploding head card that is so unique to him is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they're going to come out eventually with expansions for King of New York that's going to do that.
I'm sure they will. Because it's such a popular game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which case I would lean towards King of New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that reason.
And for me, I think if I had to pick one, because we normally don't say, we always say which one we like, but it's not really official kind of thing. I just like the puzzle more of King of New York. It adds just that other layer to the game that I find it's not just a roll dice and taking names kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit more meat on its bones that you can think about a little bit more.
True. Now, I've played both of these with the board game club that I run at a junior high school. And before we had our own library of games, I brought in King of Tokyo, and the kids played it and absolutely loved it. And then when it came time for the school to buy its own library of games, I thought it would be brilliant to get King of New York since it's the newer one, and that's why we have this. So thank you to the group
thanks
for
lending it to us. Yeah.
But the kids like it less than King of Tokyo. And I think one of the reasons why they like King of Tokyo better is King of Tokyo, it kind of has that pure focus on beating each other up, King of the Hill.
Right.
Everything else is kind of secondary. It's very much, I'm King of the Hill and beat each other up and try to survive.
Right.
So King of New York takes that focus away from beating each other up, and there's so many other things you can do, which we like.
Right.
And the kids don't.
Right.
So that might be another thing to kind of consider, like the age group that you're going to be playing it with.
Which this one does, like we said, King of Tokyo is ages 8 and up, whereas King of New York is ages 10 and up.
Yeah.
But you're at the junior high school level, so grade 7, 8, 9, right?
And I don't think it's the complexity, because we have played some fairly complex games at the board game group with grade 7 and 8 and 9, kids, and they get it.
It's just the fun factor for that
focus.
age.
Yeah. That focus of beating each other up. At that age level, they really, really enjoy take that style games.
Yeah.
And one of the things I really enjoy about this kind of game for that age group is, yes, they're beating each other up, but there is no ganging up on individual people. The rules for both games are still very clear about who gets damaged and for what reason. Right. Which is awesome.
But there's still both games that once your character is at 0 health, then you're out of the game. So there's a little bit of player elimination.
Yeah. And nobody likes that.
Yeah, which is more of a big deal in a 6-player game than it is in like a 4-player game.
Yeah.
Because the first person out in a 6 still has to wait for the other 4 players to get knocked in.
Yeah. That is a similarity for both of them. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yep. So that is our comparison and contrast of King of Tokyo and King of New York. And I know we kind of say this is what we like and what we like better, but don't take our word for it. Hopefully this just kind of informs you of how they're different, so you can choose for yourself.
Exactly. Yep. And then if you're ever in a game cafe and want to try them out, you've got a little bit more information to know the one you want to try.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Laters.
Thank you very much. Thank you.